Hello, I'm regressionist Ella Scarswood, and welcome to Real Regression Therapy Stories. Before we begin today's session, I need to warn you, what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about karma, justice, and the cycles of pain we unknowingly perpetuate across lifetimes. The woman sitting across from me in my therapy room had kind eyes, eyes that had cried far too many tears. Her name was Sarah, though that's not her real name. At 34 years old, she had been cheated on by every single man she'd ever loved. 4 relationships. 4 betrayals. Each one more devastating than the last. "I must be cursed," she whispered to me during our first consultation, her voice breaking. "There has to be something fundamentally wrong with me. Why else would this keep happening?" But what we discovered in her regression session wasn't a curse placed upon her by some external force. No, what we found was far more unsettling, far more profound, and ultimately, far more liberating. Because Sarah wasn't cursed by someone else. She was living out the consequences of who she had been. Let me take you back to the moment Sarah walked into my office for the first time. It was a gray Tuesday morning in November. Rain streaked down the windows, and there was something heavy in the air, the kind of heaviness that precedes a revelation. Sarah sat down across from me, hands trembling slightly as she clutched a cup of tea I'd offered her. She was an attractive woman, well-dressed, clearly successful in her career as a marketing executive. But there was a brokenness in her eyes that no amount of professional success could hide. "My first boyfriend cheated on me when I was 22, she began, her voice steady but hollow, as if she'd told the story so many times it had become a script. "I caught him with my roommate. I thought I'd chosen badly, you know? That I'd just picked the wrong guy." She paused, staring into her tea. "Then it happened again. And again. And again. For men, Dr. Scarswood. For completely different men from different backgrounds, different personalities, different life situations. The only common denominator is me. I've been practicing regression therapy for 15 years, and I've learned to recognize certain patterns. When the same type of pain repeats across a person's life with such precision, it's rarely random. The universe, I've found, has a way of teaching us lessons we failed to learn before. "Tell me about the most recent one," I said gently. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Michael. We were together for 3 years. I thought he was the one. We were talking about marriage, about children. Then I found text messages on his phone. He'd been seeing someone else for 8 months. 8 months of lies, Dr. Scarswood. 8 months where he looked me in the eyes every day and lied. How did that make you feel?" "Worthless," she said immediately. "Like I'm not enough. Like no matter what I do, how much I love someone, how loyal I am, I'm destined to be betrayed. I'm tired of being the victim. I'm tired of this story." That's when I knew regression therapy might give her the answers she was seeking. A week later, Sarah returned for her regression session. I'd explained the process to her. She would enter a deeply relaxed, hypnotic state where her conscious mind could step aside and allow memories from past lives to surface. Not everyone believes in reincarnation, and that's fine, but I can tell you from experience that something happens in these sessions that cannot be easily explained by conventional psychology alone. Sarah lay back on the comfortable reclining chair in my therapy room. I dimmed the lights and began the induction process, my voice low and soothing. "Take a deep breath in. And out. Feel your body relaxing, growing heavier and heavier. Your eyelids are growing heavy. You're safe here. Protected. Nothing can harm you as we explore these memories together. Her breathing slowed. Her face softened. Within 10 minutes, she was under. Sarah, I want you to go back now. Back beyond your birth in this lifetime. Allow your consciousness to drift backward through time, through the space between lives, until you find yourself in another body, another time. When you arrive there, tell me what you see. There was a long pause. Then her face changed, her expression hardening in a way I'd never seen before. When she spoke, her voice was deeper, more masculine in tone. I'm standing in a ballroom, she said. There are chandeliers. Crystal. The light is golden. There's music playing. A waltz, I think. What year is it? 1893, London. And who are you? A slow smile spread across her face, but it wasn't Sarah's smile. It was calculating, predatory. My name is Edward Hartley, she said. And every woman in this room wants me. What unfolded over the next hour was one of the most troubling past life memories I've ever witnessed. As Edward Hartley, Sarah described a life of wealth, privilege, and absolute moral bankruptcy. Edward was the second son of a British aristocrat, handsome and charming, with no real responsibilities and unlimited access to high society. He had dark eyes that women found irresistible, a silver tongue that could talk his way into or out of any situation, and a complete absence of conscience when it came to matters of the heart. I see a woman, Sarah, as Edward continued. Margaret. She's beautiful, blonde, wearing a green dress. She's married to a boring banker. She looks at me across the ballroom, and I know I can have her. What do you do? I approach her. I compliment her dress, her eyes. I tell her she looks like she's trapped in a cage, that someone as vibrant as her deserves to feel alive. Within 2 weeks, she's in my bed. How do you feel about this? That predatory smile again. Victorious. Powerful. Every woman I seduce is proof of my desirability, my dominance. Her husband suspects nothing. And when I'm done with her, when the thrill fades, I move on to the next one. As the regression deepened, a horrifying picture emerged. Edward Hartley had been a serial seducer who saw women as conquests, as objects to be collected and discarded. He'd had affairs with married women, engaged women, women who trusted him completely. He'd broken up marriages, destroyed reputations, left a trail of broken hearts across London society. And he felt no remorse whatsoever. There's another one, Sarah, as Edward said. Catherine. She's young, only 19. She believes I love her. She believes I'll marry her. I've told her as much. Will you? A cold laugh. Of course not. I'm engaged to Lady Victoria Pemberton. It's been arranged since we were children. Marrying her gives me access to her father's fortune. But until the wedding, I can do as I please. What happens to Catherine? A pause. Then, more quietly, she finds out about Victoria. She confronts me at a garden party. She's crying, making a scene. I tell her she was foolish to believe me. That she was just a diversion. How does she react? She runs away. I hear later that she threw herself into the Thames. Drowned herself. Even in the hypnotic state, Sarah's body tensed. Somewhere deep inside, her soul was recognizing the weight of what she was remembering. Let's move forward in Edward's life, I said gently. Move to a significant moment. A turning point. Sarah's face contorted with sudden emotion, pain, regret, fear all mixed together. I'm older now, she said. 47. I'm in my study. There's a letter on my desk. What does the letter say? It's from Victoria. My wife. She's left me. She's taken our children. She knows everything about all the affairs, all the women. Someone told her. She says she can't bear to look at me anymore. She says I'm a monster. How do you feel? For the first time, Edward's arrogance cracked. Empty. I feel empty. I've lost everything. My children won't speak to me. My reputation is destroyed. All my friends have turned their backs on me. And I'm alone. Why did you do it, Edward? Why did you hurt so many people? A long, painful silence. Because I could, he finally whispered. Because it made me feel powerful. Because I never thought about them as real people with real feelings. They were just mirrors reflecting back how desirable I was. How much power I had. I never loved any of them. I don't think I even loved myself. What happens next in Edward's life? I grow old. Alone. No one visits me. The women I seduced have all moved on, built new lives. Some are happy. Some never recovered. Catherine's death haunts me in my dreams. I see her face in the river. I see all their faces. And I realize I destroyed everything I touched. How does Edward die? In bed. Alone. At 63. My last thought is that I wasted my entire life chasing something that was never real. Power over others. Validation. Conquest. And in the end, I had nothing. I was nothing. I guided Sarah slowly out of the regression, bringing her consciousness back to the present moment, back to her current life and identity. When she opened her eyes, tears were streaming down her face. Oh my God, she whispered. Oh my God, that was me. I did those things. I hurt all those people. She sat up, her whole body shaking. Michael. And James. And David. And Ryan. They all cheated on me exactly the way Edward, cheated on those women. The lies. The betrayal. The way they made me feel worthless. What do you understand now? I asked quietly. I'm experiencing what I put others through. Every single feeling, the shock of discovery, the questioning of my own worth, the wondering why I wasn't enough, it's the same thing Edward made those women feel. The same thing I made them feel. She looked at me with wide, tear-filled eyes. Is this karma? Am I being punished? I chose my words carefully. I don't think it's punishment, Sarah. I think it's education. Your soul needed to understand the pain it caused. You couldn't learn that lesson as Edward because Edward refused to feel empathy. So your soul chose to experience the other side of that pain in this lifetime. But 4 times? Why did it have to happen 4 times? How many women did Edward seriously hurt? She thought back to the regression. Catherine, who killed herself. Margaret, whose marriage he destroyed. Eloise, who he got pregnant and abandoned. Victoria, his wife who he humiliated for decades. At least 4. Probably more. The recognition in her eyes was profound. Each betrayal you experienced in this life, I said softly, was a lesson in empathy. A chance to feel what they felt. To understand, in your very bones, the devastation that betrayal causes. Your soul is evolving, Sarah. You're learning what Edward refused to learn. 3 months after our session, Sarah returned to my office for a follow-up appointment. She looked different, lighter somehow, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. I wanted to tell you what's happened, she said. I've stopped seeing myself as a victim. I understand now that these experiences weren't random cruelty from the universe. They were teaching me something essential about pain, about empathy, about the responsibility we have to treat others with care. Have you forgiven the men who hurt you? She considered this. I'm working on it. But more importantly, I've forgiven Edward. I've forgiven myself. That lifetime of causing pain was terrible, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm someone who knows, deeply, what betrayal feels like. I could never do to someone else what was done to me, what I once did to others. And the pattern? Do you feel it's resolved? I do, she said with certainty. I feel it in my core. The lesson has been learned. I'm not afraid of relationships anymore. I'm not waiting for betrayal around every corner. I understand now that my experiences weren't about my worth, they were about balance, about my soul learning what it needed to learn. 2 years later, Sarah sent me a letter. She'd met someone, a kind man who treated her with respect and love. But more importantly, she wrote, she'd found peace with herself and her journey. Thank you for helping me see the bigger picture, her letter read. Thank you for showing me that we're all just souls trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to understand love. Even through pain. As I sit here reflecting on Sarah's story, I'm reminded of something I've learned in my years of practice. We are not the victims of random cruelty. We are eternal beings on a journey of evolution, learning the lessons we need to learn, even when those lessons are painful. Even when they take lifetimes to understand. The universe doesn't punish us. It teaches us. And sometimes, the greatest teacher is experiencing, firsthand, the pain we once caused others. Thank you for listening to this real regression therapy story. If Sarah's journey resonated with you, if you've experienced patterns in your own life that seem to repeat endlessly, perhaps there's a lesson waiting to be learned. Perhaps your soul is trying to teach you something essential. I'm regressionist Ella Scarswood, and I'll see you in the next session.